Morning guys, I am on my way to Bratislava, Slovakia for the Polyglot Gathering, and I'm going to take you along with me. I'll be gone for 1 week. We thought about going together, but little Evita's documents are not ready yet. She got her Russian passport, but she'd either need a visa or her Canadian passport to go to the European Union. So we are saying goodbye just for 1 week. Bye bye bye. Bye bye bye. And bye bye to you. This is almost a record of time that we've been apart. I guess maybe the last time this happened was last year at the same conference. I went alone and then we met in Ukraine after. It is a beautiful day. Now I take one bus, actually 2 trains I think, in the metro, then another bus, and I will be at the airport. One of the 4 airports in Moscow. It's just about a 2.5 hour flight from Moscow, Russia to Bratislava, Slovakia, and that is where I am now. It was raining quite a bit when I got out of the airport, so I didn't film on the way. But it's nice to be here. It's a nice small city, and you can just take the bus from the airport. It's like I think €1.20. It depends on how long you're on the bus, but really convenient. And I got an Airbnb for a week. I will be here. The conference is just 5 days, but I will be here for 7 days. So I'm here Monday, and the conference will start on Wednesday, go to Sunday, and I will go back to Moscow on Monday in a week. So yeah, I miss Eva and Evita, and if anybody doesn't know what a Polyglot Gathering is, it's a conference basically just of people that love to learn languages. There's lots of talks and interesting activities, and the coolest thing for me is just the opportunity to meet lots of people who love to study lots of languages. Lots of them of course have very interesting stories of, you know, living in different countries and doing different things in different languages. So it should be really fun. And by the way, many of you went on to Airbnb and signed up when I talked about it one time. If you don't know, Airbnb is just a site basically where you can rent a place to stay. You know, it could be a room, could be an apartment, a house, and it's really convenient. If you haven't tried it out, I will leave a link in the description, and you can get a discount, I think of like $40 off your first stay, something like that. It maybe depend on where you're at, but really cool. And if you do that, then we also get like, I think $20 or something. So it's really nice. Part of my stay this time was paid because some of you signed up, so thanks for that. Now I am a bit tired and pretty hungry, so I think I'm gonna go to the store. Luckily there's a Tesco, this grocery store, just like 300 meters away. So and tomorrow I will go to the venue, and I'll try to share some of my experience with you and give you a good idea of what happens at a conference like this, and maybe introduce you to some people, some friends that I already know, and some new people that I'll meet. But I've been to this Polyglot Gathering once before, about the same time last year here in Bratislava, and also the Polyglot Conference, which switches cities every year. Last year it was in Slovenia. So last year I was in Slovenia and Slovakia, and this year Slovakia. I'll leave links to these, the Polyglot Gathering, Polyglot Conference in the description, just because maybe one of you is interested. You don't have to speak tons of languages to come. You can just speak one if you want. I mean, if you're interested in learning more, then everybody's welcome, and nobody is going to judge you for, you know, only knowing 1 or 2 languages. But yeah, and then there's another one in Montreal called, I think it's called Langfest. So I will put links to all of those in the description. These elevators always seem so scary to me when there's no door. And here in Slovakia too, the bottom floor, the ground floor is P. I don't know what that stands for. And then so like in Canada or the US, and Russia too actually, this would be the second floor, but that's actually the first floor. So that's the case in a lot of Europe, but it takes yeah, it's I'm getting used to, and it changes from country to country, so you have to always pay attention. It stopped raining at least, that's nice. One thing that I noticed this time that's pretty cool is they have these big apartment buildings that have multiple different entrances, but here each entrance like has its own number, basically like the house number for each separate entrance, which is kind of unique. Like in Russia, they just have one number for like the whole building. Could be a huge building, like the building that we live in Moscow has 7 different entrances, and so you just have but the address is just the whole building. So there's always these confusions with taxi drivers and with delivery sometimes. So it seems to be more convenient here because you tell them your address in Moscow, and then they always ask like which entrance, you know, not always, and if they don't, then they may end up in the wrong place because they're a pretty big building sometimes. I also wanted to mention that the men's world championship of hockey was here in this city. Yesterday was the final game. Canada got 2nd place, Russia got 3rd place, and I thought about coming a little bit earlier to catch maybe the final game, which would have been cool, but it was a bit pricey, so I decided to pass this time. I think the cheapest tickets were 300 euros, but it's kind of cool. Today I walked by the stadium, and that was very interesting to think that just last night, you know, the Canadian national team was there, and loads of fans from all over the world. Now I think I'm gonna go to McDonald's, get something to eat, because all I had today was a little bit of sushi and 2 bananas, but I don't know where to cross the road. This is a problem. I figured it'd be better if I eat before I go to the grocery store, so I just got the old classic Big Mac. I downloaded the local McDonald's app and got a deal on it, 4 euros for the whole combo. So the conference has actually been going on for, this is the 2nd day now. I came and helped set everything up, and it's so busy, so much to do, and so many people. The conference this year has about, I think, 650 people registered. So I'm a volunteer. I've been helping out a lot, and yeah, it's just like you never know when to film. It's usually super noisy. But I keep thinking like, I gotta film. I don't know what to film. There's so many interesting people. I don't know what to show you guys. Right now is the Culinary event, I think they call it. So there are a bunch of tables and people brought food from their countries. So there's all kinds of food and drink from different countries that you can just go around and try, which is really fun and really tasty. So I will show you a little bit of what there is, but it's quite noisy out there. So here is the United Kingdom. So some things from the United Kingdom. And what else do we have here? This is Slovakia. There's a lot of things from Slovakia. And over here they had Austria. Looks like almost everything is gone. And France, different cookies. And over here they have Belgium, Lithuanian over there. There we have Poland, Norway, Ukraine. Somebody even brought sala, which is like this pig fat. Germany, Macedonia, Finland, Sweden, Belgium. Hey man, another Canadian. Hey. Russia, lots of stuff from Russia. Israel over here. Lots of stuff from Israel and Paraguay. Now they've got Polyglot Karaoke. Lots and lots of people singing lots of different songs in different languages.
Your native language along the street or shopping in shop. Yes.
This is the cafeteria. There are always very long lines at the beginning. It's very big and very noisy, but I like the food. We get some chicken, rice, soup, some dessert, carrots, bread. It is always very noisy. Alright, this is day 4 of 5 of the Polyglot Gathering.
and I'm realizing that I'm not filming that much. I'm meeting so many interesting, awesome people, and I'm not filming. It's really hard to sort of film naturally because it's so loud. So in the shower today, I decided that I need to sort of try to give you at least a little bit of a picture of who comes to these things. So I'm going to try to talk to some of the most impressive polyglots that I know, and also just some other really interesting people, some of which know a bunch of languages and some of which don't know so many, just so you sort of get a little bit of a picture. So that's my goal for today, and I'm going to teach a quick English lesson on Skype before the talks start. So I'm here a little bit earlier today. It's beautiful today. It was raining most of the first 2-3 days. So here we go. The conference this year and the past, I think, 3 years has been held at the Economic University of Bratislava, by the way. All right, this is the first person we are talking to. This is Natalie.
Hi.
And you are from, where are you from?
Sweden.
Sweden. And I'll just take a close-up of your badge here. So you got German, Swedish. How do you know German like a native?
My father's from Germany and my mother from Sweden, so I grew up bilingual.
Okay, so always 2 languages. And then what's like, there's a lot of languages there, but just like quickly go through the languages, like when you started.
Okay, so English is, you have to do it in school, so you learn it quite early. And then you learn it even more if you watch television and computers. Everything is in English. They don't translate it in Sweden.
Right.
And also because my mother spoke Swedish and my father German, they didn't really communicate with each other on those languages. So they spoke English when I was a kid.
Wow.
So I grew up with that kind of for free.
So that's kind of standard for Sweden, at least Swedish and English.
Yeah, in 6th grade and upwards, it's
right.
standard with English. Depending on how much you listen and of course and how you involve in the English language. But yeah, most Swedish people speak good English.
So when did you get into other languages then?
So Spanish I studied in high school. But I didn't really like studying style. And then I got an internship in Argentina. And then when I was there, I got a job in Bolivia, and then I kind of just evolved. So I spent a few years in Latin America.
Cool.
Learning Spanish and also working in Spanish.
So you've been to this gathering once before?
Twice.
Twice before?
In Berlin and last year.
Oh, so this is your 3rd time. Cool. So why do you come here?
A lot of reasons. Like I love languages, obviously. Also the interaction. I think people who learn languages, special kind of people. I always feel I like the community and the feeling of belonging. The getting to know new people from different places, and all of us have language as a passion, but also something else.
Yeah.
And I like those combinations to find people who have those, whether it's sports and language, economics and language, or social things and language. Just to meet other people who love something in languages.
Cool. Are you studying any new languages recently, or what are you studying now?
Yeah, I'm studying Creole, Haitian Creole since 2017 because of my job.
Do you think at some point you will think, oh, it's enough languages, I will stop? No?
I wish I had a lot more time because a lot of people here have spoken about consistency and every time get up in the morning, do it, just don't postpone it, because once you start postponing it, and it's just difficult when you have a lot of things and late nights and top of work, there's another thing, and then, oh yeah, right, I should sit down my 45 minutes and do my gold list or watch a movie in another language.
Cool. Thank you, Natalie.
It's difficult, but I want to continue.
Yeah, awesome. All right, this is Kevin. He is one of the most impressive, experienced polyglots that I know. I'll get a little bit of a close-up of the badge here.
Yeah.
So you're from the U.S. Would you say that?
Yes, I'd say that. I'm from New York City, United States.
And
also from Shanghai, because I grew up there. Like half my childhood was spent in Shanghai. We moved back to Shanghai when I was about 10 years old. So I lived there, finished high school there in a Chinese-speaking school, and then went back to the States for college. So now I'm back living in New York City. Been back in New York for about a bit over 10 years now.
Wow. Both your parents Chinese?
Yes, both from Shanghai originally.
So when did your, I mean, obviously you always had Chinese and English, right? And when did the other languages start for you?
Well, I guess part of it is that I didn't necessarily always have Chinese, actually. It was a thing, obviously growing up in the States before we went back, like, my Chinese was like not particularly great actually. Like I would go to like Chinese school on the weekends and things, but really I really had to catch up.
Did your parents speak Chinese with you? Like
they would, and I would respond in English.
Okay.
That's sort of the classic Chinese American thing to do for a lot of kids. But yeah, so went back to China. Instead of going to an international school, got sent to like a local school to see if I could figure things out, and I guess I did. So yeah, just sort of had to. The first thing was just like catching up on Chinese was a fun thing to do for me. Sort of like had a dictionary with me all the time. Like would be reading books after class to catch up with my classmates. And I mean, so that was part of it. And then afterwards, everyone else. All of my other classmates still had to take English class, but obviously I didn't have to since it was a native language of mine. So basically, I saw everyone else doing English homework and well, going to English class, and I was like, oh, might as well, with this extra time I have, like, do a bit of some other language. And
so how old were you then?
I was like 13, 14 probably when this started really. Did a bit of, well, French, Spanish, German, just like went online, looked for stuff. Even a little bit of like, well, a bit of Japanese, a bit of Arabic, even mostly just learning the letters at that point really. Russian, mostly again, just the alphabet. And so yeah, just got like interested in languages, had like a pretty broad but like shallow base at that point. Yeah. And then like went back to the States for college and yeah, for my foreign language, I figured I'd pick something a bit more complicated. So I went with Russian. And part of it was like the goal at the time was to get like the 6 working languages of the UN. It seemed like a good like spread to have. Obviously had English and Chinese natively already, and then it was like Spanish and French obviously needed a bit of work as well, but then the last 2 remaining were Russian and Arabic. Arabic class was full, Russian. I started college right after Russia had invaded Georgia that year, like 2008, so I was like thinking to myself, oh, this might be a good language to know 10 years down the line or something.
Sure.
So yeah, that was a thing. Yeah, did Russian for 2 years, lived in Russia for a summer, and I mean, yeah, once I got Russian sort of mostly out of the way, I guess, other languages didn't seem too bad, sort of went back and revisited Spanish and French and actually got better at them. Like, previously I wasn't really, like for example with French, like I was able to read it, but I never really got comfortable speaking it until like much later. And then yeah, but after having managed Russian, I figured, okay, time to give French another shot. And yeah, just sort of like bit by bit, like with like, yeah, English, Chinese, Russian, Arabic also sort of like, after that it's sort of like filling in the gaps, sort of like, it's like the European languages, the Middle Eastern languages, Asian languages, sort of like where whatever I felt interested in for a bit, do a few months of.
So do you still do that now? Like, do you actively study languages in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, usually these days with work and things, it's like I get maybe half an hour on the way to work, half an hour on the way back.
So like in the subway or whatever?
Yeah, on the subway, yeah. I'm reading something on my iPad, like a textbook I have or something. And if I really get into it, I might spend like an extra hour or something at home if I have time in the evening. And yeah, for sure. And a lot of just like listening to stuff on YouTube or news things, radio, online, to keep things up.
Wow. How many of the countries that you speak the language for, like, have you not been to a country where they speak that language?
Oh yeah, I mean there's a bunch that I haven't been to, but let's see, the ones I've been to obviously are, well, US, China, Russia, Ukraine also. Spanish speaking countries I've only been to the Dominican Republic so far, and the US to some extent, especially New York. Yeah. But I've been to the DR, so that helped. Cool. With French, I mean, well, France, Belgium, Quebec, Haiti also. Germany, not yet. Well, I've been to Austria for a little bit. So Portugal, no. I mean, I've been to Macau and Goa, but neither of those really count anymore. So Serbia, yeah. Croatia, Montenegro, not Israel. I've been to Egypt, but I don't speak that dialect anymore. I was literally in Turkey 3 days ago, so that's a new one that I've finally gotten around to visiting. Haven't been to Pakistan, but have been to India, so I always debate which flag to use here. Been to Japan a couple times, haven't been to either Iran or Tajikistan or Afghanistan, so Ukraine, yeah. Georgia, no. Indonesia, no. But they speak Malay in Singapore, I guess. Sort of. I didn't speak it at the time, so it doesn't count. We're here right now, so I spoke a bit of Slovak just like 5 minutes ago, I guess. Not East Africa yet, and not Kazakhstan. Although I guess I've been working on the Uyghur, and they speak that in China.
Yeah.
But I haven't been in that part of China yet.
It's a Turkic language, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think there's something that like makes you special, that makes you be able to learn so many languages?
I mean, I guess part of it's just like the way, like, as I mentioned earlier, just sort of like having gone back to China and sort of had to learn Chinese, and then having had this bit of extra time. And I feel like the order in which I got the languages sort of like, because like English and Chinese are already, they're sort of like annoying languages to learn as a foreign language, I imagine, and then get rushed, and sort of like after those, like other things probably seem a bit
easier,
more straightforward for the most part. Yeah, and I guess, I don't know, besides that, I mean, I guess I just like it a lot.
Yeah, I guess that's the key, right? Yeah. I think that's kind of the secret. You know, when you're really passionate, you just do it.
Right.
And you've been to a couple events like this, right?
Yes.
A bunch.
Yeah, I was here in Bratislava last year, and also there's an event kind of like this in Montreal that's been held for the past 3 years. It's called Langfest now. That's pretty good. It's usually when my annual like attempt to brush up on French happens around that time before I go up to Montreal. Yeah, there's also the Polyglot Conference I went when it was in New York a few years ago, and this year it's going to be in Japan in Fukuoka, and I'm planning to go for that one and work on my Japanese for that.
So why do you go to these events?
I mean, it's just cool to like meet other people who like have this interest in languages, and also get to actually like practice these with like native speakers and a lot of people who are learning them also. It's just a fun time, yeah.
Awesome.
Also a reason to like visit other places. Well, I guess I've been here, but yeah, it's like that's another benefit. I mean, yeah, for Fukuoka, for example, I haven't been to anywhere in the western part of Japan before, so that'll be one reason to go.
Sweet.
As well.
Do you have any like social media, like YouTube or anything that you want to shout out?
I have like a blog on Medium that I semi-regularly, like maybe once every month, I'll get around.
About languages?
Yeah, about languages.
Cool. All right, we'll stick a link to that in the description, and cool. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks.
This is my friend Artem from Russia. What city are you from?
Novosibirsk.
And you don't have a name tag, so I can't show people your languages, but tell me how your journey in language learning began.
It began when I first visited Italy in 2013. I loved this country, and ever since I started learning Italian, and I love Italy even more, speaking the language, knowing local people. And once I learned Italian, I watched YouTube videos of polyglots on how to learn languages. I applied it to my Italian studies, and once I learned Italian, I asked myself, why not doing the same thing with French, Spanish, and so I did it. I learned French, Spanish, Portuguese, then I tried to learn German, but it was a little bit too hard because I didn't have strong motivation. But then I started learning Greek and a little bit of Thai, and now I'm learning Polish. So I love learning languages, but the biggest reason why I learn languages is not because I'm interested in languages. I'm interested in people who speak these languages. So I usually don't go into details of grammar or linguistics. I just want to communicate when I travel. I love traveling. So this is my story, language story.
Cool. That's kind of crazy because you said 2013 you went to Italy and decided to learn Italian. So that's 6 years, and you just listed off like 7 languages that you've studied. That's pretty awesome. And I know that you have a really high level in the Romance languages, at least, right?
Yeah.
And English is good too. So and Russian's your native language. So that's great.
Actually, I would say that I have B2 level. I cannot say that I have C. Maybe French. I have C level because I also learned French at university. Once I learned Italian, I decided to change my faculty, change my studies, and study international relations. I used to study sociology, and but I also wanted to say that when I started learning Italian, didn't want to learn multiple languages. I wanted to learn Italian, and then I wanted to learn French, and then I wanted to learn another language. I never had the goal of learning multiple languages, just one after another naturally. And then I wake up one day and wow, I speak multiple languages.
Does it get easier as you go along?
Yeah, of course. If if you learn languages from the same language family, of course it's going to be easier. Language group, it's going to be easier. But also you develop along the way your method, and it also helps you know what suits you best, what methods, what resources. So yeah, and basically a very important thing is that you're sure that you're gonna learn this language because you've already done it multiple times.
Yeah, sweet. And why? How many of these events have you been to?
My first event was in Thessaloniki, Greece in 2013, Polyglot Conference, and I would say that it was my favorite conference because it was my first time in such event, and also the cool thing was that at that time I really watched a lot of content on language learning. I watched every polyglot video, every polyglot I knew, and the cool thing was that once I came there I met them in person, and it was amazing. Then when I went I skipped a couple of conferences. This is actually my first time in Polyglot Gathering because I went to Polyglot Conference in Greece 2016, Polyglot Conference in Ljubljana 2018, and now Polyglot Gathering. So now there's so many people and it seems like too much for me. I'm a little bit stressed because Polyglot Conference there are usually less people and less lectures. So I don't know. Right now it's also cool because I met lots of people from many countries who learn Russian, which I appreciate. And yeah, so for me, I go there to meet people because lectures you can, as you said a couple of days ago, you can find online. It's not the most important motivation to go to such a conference. The best thing is meet people who speak your language, speak other languages. If you struggle finding like native speakers, you come here, you're gonna speak, like if your goal to speak Spanish, you're gonna find lots of people interested in Spanish, and yeah, it's just awesome event.
Sweet. And you have a project. Can you just tell us very briefly about your project, just in case somebody is studying Russian?
Yeah, so my project is called Russian Progress, and it is a YouTube channel for intermediate learners of Russian who have intermediate level. The concept is very simple. I record videos in natural Russian and put subtitles. And also I have podcast, and yeah, I'm so flattered that I met people. I've been working on this project for a year, and I met people there who were using this channel, the materials I create, and this is awesome. I enjoy helping people learn Russian because actually I created it because this is the way I learned other languages, just by listening, reading the transcript, and enjoying the content. Yeah, so why not doing it for those who learn Russian? Awesome,
and we'll put a link to that in the description, especially if anybody's learning Russian, check it out. It's already the closing ceremony. Lots of people. Not quite as many as there was for the opening ceremony, but time flies. The next Polyglot Gathering is in Poland.
So plan your stay longer before the gathering if you are curious about Poland and Warsaw. There is also a plan to all.
This is one of the coolest people that I met here at the gathering, Julian. Man, what do we start with? Just briefly, what's your story with languages?
My story with languages. So languages for me was kind of a gift my parents gave to me, because so my dad actually worked for the French government when I was a kid, and we moved around a lot. So I was born in Mexico, and then he also had a contract in Brazil. So I got to learn French and English natively because my mom's American. And so my mom always spoke to me in English and my dad always spoke to me in French. So I got those two languages. And then when we lived in Brazil, I got Portuguese for free. because they put me in the Brazilian school. And, yeah, so I'm really thankful for that, you know. And then I've, you know, started adding other languages. You know, I've gotten this initial, you know, starter pack, and now I'm, you know, working on other languages. Right now I'm working on Dutch, and also know some Spanish.
So Spanish. What the first 3 basically you didn't have a choice, right?
No.
So after that, was there a point where you're like, hey, maybe I should learn something else, or I don't know?
Yeah, I've always kind of wanted to learn something else. Actually, like probably I've probably in the past 4 years really been like getting back to, you know, I wanted to perfect my Spanish, and I just started doing Dutch, so sorry, I forgot what the question was.
I said, like, was there a point where you were like, because the first three were given basically, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
But then when you're like, oh, I could learn something else, or it's just kind of natural, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of natural because, you know, like, you know, in life you kind of have to find like where you stick out and where you kind of have like an unfair advantage, and this is where I kind of have an unfair advantage is with my languages, and if that's something I can enjoy as well, which I do enjoy a lot, speaking my languages and all the culture that comes with it, then I go ahead, you know, and try to develop that so I can, you know, be good in what I do, you know?
Yeah, sure. So this is your first Polyglot event?
No, it's my second one.
Second? Yes. You were here last year?
I was here last year.
Cool. So why'd you come? The first time, why'd you come back? What do you like about it?
Because I just wanted to relate with people, because you know, with my upbringing, even though it's I would say it's a privileged upbringing. You know, I won't hide that. You know, there's certain things that I can't relate about with you know, people that haven't been speaking languages like this their whole life, and you know, I just wanted to meet others like me, and, you know, kind of have people to relate to and talk about, you know, problems, like, you know, like when you're speaking a language and other words pop in your head, and like just little issues like that, or sometimes feeling like, you know, you can't really master one language fully because you're speaking all, you know, which is silly to, you know, feel bad about. That's just kind of feeling sorry for yourself. It's good to relate with people, you know, and bounce ideas, and it's definitely like, you know, inspired me to go even harder, you know, with my language skills, and you know, because before the Polyglot Gathering last year, I probably I really appreciated my languages, but, you know, like after the Polyglot Gathering last year, really like meeting all these people that speak, like, you know, tons of languages, you know, and like seeing how open it's made them and all this, it's like really inspired me to go further, you know.
Sweet, man.
Yeah.
And so they just announced the next one will be in Poland. Do you think you'll go?
Yeah, Poland. I think I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think something would have to come up for me to not go. So I'd say I'm definitely gonna go, and unless something comes up, but I doubt there will be something else. But yeah, I'm excited. So maybe Polish will be my first Slavic language, because, you know, it's a good doorway into the Slavic world, maybe.
Sure, yeah.
You know, they don't use the Cyrillic alphabet, they use our alphabet.
Yeah.
So that makes it easier.
Cool.
For me, so.
Well, maybe somebody watching this video will see you next year.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
I'd love to meet you guys. Yeah, for sure.
So the conference itself is over. I don't know, it seems like the opening ceremony was a long time ago, but at the same time everything went pretty fast. Today is the day after the conference ended, and I fly out this evening, but today there's a picnic for everybody who's left over. So everybody brought a bit of food, and we're just chatting. So on the way back to Moscow now. I'm finally home. I got home pretty late last night, about 1 a.m., so I didn't film anything, but it's nice to finally be back with my beautiful girls. I missed you guys.
I missed you too. She missed you so much.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed you guys a lot. Thanks for watching, guys.